Muslims are getting weak, bro. Really, really weak. I'm in Saudi right now. I'm going for Umrah tomorrow. And, like, it's an amazing experience. Genuinely amazing. You're in Saudi, weather's beautiful, the salah is amazing, the reciters are so good, and that sense of brotherhood is insane. Like, everyone's just Muslim, everyone worships one God, there's no weird transgenders, there's none of this weird stuff that I see back at home in the UK. There's none of that. But despite me being here and seeing all of these good things, and don't get me wrong, I'm not ungrateful. This is one of the biggest blessings we can have as Muslims, and to be able to come to these holy lands and praise Allah and soak in these experiences. But I look around at so many people, and a lot of them are just out of shape. A lot of them, you can tell they don't have that kind of spice for life. And they don't have that kind of spark in them where they believe they can do anything. And more so than anything, I've been contemplating on the fact that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is buried here. Abu Bakr, Umar, radiyallahu anh, all of these people. And you think about all of the history and how one man from the desert received revelation from Allah, and now it's this. Like, I'm sat in this nice hotel room and there's like hundreds of hotels just in this vicinity. The actual Masjid Nabawi campus, or whatever you want to call it, is huge. Like, they've put billions of dollars into it. There's gold plated inside. They've got the things that block out the sun, the umbrellas. Like, it's beautiful. It's a dream. It's a taste of Jannah. All of that from one man who was resistant enough, resilient enough, and truthful enough to spread the message of Allah, and strong enough to resist all of the oppression that came his way. And I'm no scholar, by the way. Like, it's just my observations, but it's that sense of camaraderie, brotherhood, and the ability to stick up for what you believe in that has built this religion, that's spread it across the world, that's got us all uniting together upon La ilaha illallah. And the people here, obviously, they've also got a level of iman. It's great to see. But there's a big issue, and I myself included. Like, I'm not a perfect Muslim by any means. There's days where I slip up, there's times where I've gone further away from my religion over the past year, whilst trying to pursue success, thinking that I could do it on my own without Allah. There was times when I was building my sales agency, and I'd delay my prayers. I wouldn't want to go to talks. I'd pray to Allah, but I'd forget to actually pray to Him. Like, I'd be doing the action, but I'm not thinking about prayer. The last thing I'm thinking about is prayer. I'm just doing maths and calculations in my head of how I'm going to fix this problem and that problem and deal with this person and think about how much money I'm going to make. And of course, when you're prioritizing anything above Allah, He's going to take it away from you, or just stop you from getting that thing if He loves you. But then I look at so many other Muslims around the world, and a lot of them talk about how it's so expensive to go to Hajj and it's so expensive to go to Umrah, but they're doctors, they're lawyers, and they have all these high-paying professions, and you're like, what's the problem? Like, why are you not doing this? And the problem is they think that the money that they earn isn't enough, and they'd rather put that money into the house, or to the safety, or for investments, or for the future, and all those kind of things. But prioritizing Allah and investing in coming to these holy lands is the biggest investment. Every time I've come to these holy lands, I've left richer, I've left more wise, I've left deeper in my connection with Allah. And every time after I leave, I'm hit with tests. I'm hit with either financial difficulties, or Allah's testing if I'm really going to be that tied in on my faith and my iman, or issues with people around me. Everything. But the only thing that keeps me coming back and passing those trials, like when my sales agency was failing and I did my first Umrah, then all of my sales team pretty much called me to tell me they're quitting, apart from 2 or 3 guys. Then an old colleague someone that used to work for me, he reached out to me and helped me fix a bunch of the issues that we had going on in our business. Then I ended up partnering with him, and then ended up fixing a lot of the constraints in the business. Then the second Umrah I went to in Ramadan, I was making the most money I've ever made at that point, 15k a month, and consecutively. And I'd kind of prayed to Allah to find a way out of the sales agency that I was working, because I hated it, and I hated the fact that I had to be in the UK. It was door-to-door sales, and through enough trials and tribulation, and through enough times where I was at a breaking point, Allah finally granted me that as well, to be able to start working from home or remotely. And now I'm facing my own challenges with that. But every time I'm going through a challenge or an affliction, I'm putting my money and time into Allah, because I want my success in this life and the hereafter. And I know that my success is only dependent on my relationship with Allah. It's only dependent on the amount of work that I can put in daily, holding myself to a new standard, waking up at 4 a.m, praying tahajjud, doing my push-ups, getting in my cold shower, becoming grateful to Allah, praying to Him with intention, and then working like a madman all day, but knowing that Allah's going to take care of it for me. Every time you think about, you want to achieve a certain goal, you want to get a six-pack, you want to get muscles, you want to clean up your diet, you want to find a good woman, I'm not qualified to talk about that yet, but you want to build a successful business, you want to just become an absolute killer. You need to look first at not how bad you want it, not how this other person got it. You need to look at your daily habits and your relationship with Allah. Because if you're disrespecting Allah in the essence that you're asking for things, or you think you should have certain things, but you're not putting in the work to get there. Let's say you want a six-pack, but you just keep eating donuts every day. It's disrespectful. So when you adopt the mind frame of Allah's watching me to see what decision I make right now, Allah's watching me to see what kind of man I'm going to be, you make so much better decisions and you become so much more competent, and then you get towards your goals as a result. That's been the case for me every single time, because the biggest thing in my life that I lacked was discipline, and that's what Islam has afforded me. But yeah, these Umrahs have always been such a sick checkpoint every stage of my life. But it takes me to another point where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba, they were able to spread such influence and such wisdom and power and good to the world, because they held themselves to the absolute supreme standard. They had high testosterone, they were in great shape, they were always training, they were, from what I know, they had proper iman and taqwa and tawakkul in Allah. They knew that if they just show up every day, have full faith in Allah and His Messenger, don't deviate from the path, then they're going to be victorious. And that was the case. Even in Battle of Uhud, they disobeyed Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with the Archers' Hill. The archers went down for the loot, they got greedy, thought they won the battle, and then they ended up getting butchered. So when you choose your own desires over your relationship with Allah, is when you go against direct orders, things don't come to fruition. And a big problem that we've got right now is, it's like people have let themselves go physically so much. Like most people I look at here, massive fat bellies, eating whatever food they want. A lot of them, we're just not strong anymore. Like, we should be the ones absolutely revolutionizing, leading business, being that first world beacon of hope and support. And places like Dubai and Saudi, like, they're getting better now. Like, people are looking at us like, oh, this is Muslim countries, but they're really first world. That's what I want completely. I want, like, the whole Middle East to be like, boom, this united section of, like, just Muslim killers. And, like, we're so first world, we treat everyone so well. And people always ask about how we've got our success and why we're in the best shape and why our economy is functioning the best and why we're so futuristic. Oh, it's just because I'm Muslim. It's just because I'm Muslim. But dreams like that start with the individual. Dreams like that start with people like me and you, paving the path for a better future. So we can't hope for things like that if we're not representing ourselves in the absolute best manner. We can't represent ourselves as first world people and first world nations when our bellies are hanging over our toes, when we don't have this shredded six-pack and the great physique, when we're not physically and financially capable. Financially, we need to be rich. We need to strive for that success. We need to provide impact and benefit to the world. That comes from raising our standard. I've had a taste of money whilst not being the man, and it's like right now I'm going through a little bit of difficulty because I've closed down that business and I'm on to my next venture. But I feel better now than I did back then when I was making more money, because of the habits I've made for myself. I know that when I start blasting and making so much more money, I'm actually going to be worthy of it. Actually worthy of it. I know there's people ahead of me right now that make more money than me, but they don't have my habits. They don't show up to the gym every day. They don't have our relationship with Allah. They don't have a fraction of the discipline that I'm building myself every single day. So I feel like I'm better than them. And I know that when I get the millions, or I get the 10 millions, or I get the 100 millions, and we get all this wealth and influence, we're going to be worthy of it. It's not going to corrupt us. That's how we truly be successful. Becoming the man that money flows to. Becoming the man that wealth flows to. Becoming the man that influence flows to. Not putting these things on a pedestal as if those things alone are going to change your life, and then worrying about holding on to your pennies. Oh, I can't go for Umrah, I can't do this because I need to hold on to my pennies. It's just disrespectful, and it never gets us anywhere. So yeah, I want us all to really just get our fingers out of our bums and start pursuing that holistic success. That's how we shine through. Like, you can look at these kafirs, these disbelievers that, by the way, this is another thing, like, people say, like, oh, disbelievers, as if, like, they're the bad people. You don't hate the person, you just hate the disbelief. But it's just a descriptive term. But you see these guys that aren't Muslim, and they're super rich. But think about it, like, then they actually are poor, because they don't have what we have. They don't have this tawheed, they don't have the trust in Allah, they can't experience what we experience. These feelings coming to Makkah, Madinah, Umrah, Masjid al-Aqsa, inshallah, like, you can't describe that, you can't replicate that, you can't replicate the feeling of actually being submissive to your Lord, Allah. You can't describe the sweetness of getting closer to Him, the sweetness of listening to Quran, the sweetness of having that brotherhood and congregating in prayer, and it's just insane. They don't have this. They've got a bit of this life, not even to the fullest, and they won't have the akhirah. But our life, whilst we're rich and close to Islam, in this life, is unmatched. No one else can replicate that, but it starts with what you do today. Take a good look in the mirror, ask yourself, is Allah happy with where I'm going? If I ask for $1 million and this beautiful wife and all this amazing life, traveling around the world, all this influence, right now, would I deserve it? And the answer is probably no. If so, check the rest of my videos. I go through every single video how I'm striving to become my best self, and there'll be plenty more to come. But yeah, I need to get ready for this Umrah tomorrow. I'm gonna whack up on a bit of education and go to sleep, inshallah. Probably only gonna get 4 hours sleep, but that's the life we live. Assalamu alaikum. Keep pushing, boys. See you on the next one.